live?
Yeah.
We are live. Hello, everybody out there. Podfather of Game Buonocore. You are listening, watching to episode 1 of Nerd Off, where two chumps get together and determine who is the bigger nerd in some genre that who cares about. But we do care about this because this is nerd stuff. And I have here with me today the very esteemed Corey Thompson of the Dice Tower Dish, who believes that he knows more about Tolkien than Stephen Buonocore, the Podfather, does. We're going to see if that's the case. Corey Thompson, thank you very much for being here on this in this new live stream thing that took us about like 20 hours to conceive. It's only in the last 20 hours did we decide we're going to do this thing. So how are you, sir?
Doing well. Thank you. I am chump number 2. And I just want to say, Stephen, you kind of brought this on. You were taunting me that you knew more Tolkien than me, and I was laying quiet. And then we had a get together and we saw each other in person, which was great. And I thought I needed a little more clout, a little more gravitas on my side of the argument. So I had a little surprise for you, just to kind of be a preamble, an appetizer, and a amuse-bouche for this nerd off.
Oh, did you? So, and that's what you sprung on me. Is that what you're saying at CoreyCon?
It was almost a necessity. You were just needling me enough. I don't know how I could not have done it.
So you know a guy, is what you're saying.
I know a guy. So I reached out and we got this video. So
I guess at this point we gotta play this video of that happened at CoreyCon, and Corey got a guy and he knew a guy. So we got Roy Cannaday, by the way, in the background. He's gonna play a video when he can figure out how to do that.
Hey everybody, it's Sean Astin here, Lord of the Rings actor, Samwise Gamgee. I'm not sure where I should start with this, but I was in a debate with someone about people who own gaming companies, and I got to meet a ton of them with Lord of the Rings. You know, one of them I think was board game company. It was a board game company. It was called Stronghold or something. Stronghold, yeah. So anyhow, so there's this Steven who knows nothing about Lord of the Rings. Okay, Steven is like, oh, let me tell you about Lord of the Rings. You're like, okay, Steven, what do you got to tell me about Lord of the Rings? Didn't even know what an Ent was. Didn't know about the Light of Elendil. Didn't even know that it was called the Pass of Cahadras, I think, or the Tower of Cirith Ungol. I heard one that I didn't even know, which was, what was the name of the volcano? Stephen would very quickly say, I'm sure. And I just heard this on the podcast from my two Hobbit buddies, with Dom and Billy, Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd, who played Merry and Pippin, respectively.
I know.
Anyhow,
we know
in their podcast, they did a quiz for a caller-in type deal. And the question was asked, what's the name of the volcano? And Cahadras, Doom, Barad-dûr, or Minas Tirith. And you just know Stephen would be like, duh. Pfft, are you kidding me? It's Mount Doom. That's what I would have said. But no, apparently it's Barad-dûr. Apparently Doom is the mountain, but the actual volcano place where the thing goes in. But anyhow, this isn't a discussion really about how Sean Astin doesn't know anything about Lord of the Rings. That's pretty well understood at this point. This is a story about the pretender to the throne, Mr. Stronghold. Totally would go to CoreyCon. Stephen knew anything about Lord of the Rings. Stephen, I don't mean to hold your feet to the fire too hard on this, man, but, you know, there comes a time, you know, and there's a reckoning. Corey knows the truth about you and tells everyone. That's how we met. That's how I met Corey. I was at a car wash, and there was a guy standing on the corner with a sandwich board. And his hat said, "I am Core." And he was holding a sandwich board that says, "Stephen knows
to the
nothing."
side, you couldn't see
and I'm
it.
like, damn, that's harsh. So I went up to him. I gave him one of those, hot dogs from the rolling thing in the car wash. I was having it detailed. I had time on my hands. And I was like, "Corey, bro,
was a Civic.
why the animosity towards Stephen?" And he was like, no, I love Stephen. He's awesome. He just, as the sign says, knows nothing.
You want to warn people.
Like, there's a word in Shakespeare, Corey, line of dialogue. "Thou doth protesteth too much. How much do you know?" Corey Thompson.
Yeah.
And Corey was like, "Try me." We covered everything. We covered graphic novels. We covered early 70s game shows. We covered everything from... he was an expert on the Silmarillion. I'm like, "Corey, how does one person know that much about the Silmarillion?" And Corey was just like, I read it once and it goes in. So, Stephen, I'm not going to hold this against you, bro, but
Bro. He called me bro.
just do a little homework. Just a little homework. Okay? I'll still buy you a pint of ale in the Shire.
Guess what Buonocore's having right now? A pint of ale at the Stronghold. Well, Corey, that was pretty epic, I must say. That was an epic testimony.
Do you want to bring up the fact that we did, in fact, have a little trivia contest after this video?
We did. We did. But I have to bring, at this point, before we do that and talk about some trivia, I have to bring my expert witnesses in to tell you who is the heir to the throne of Tolkien. And in a manner of speaking, two hobbits are better than one. Roy Cannaday, roll the video, baby.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Corey. Hello, Corey. You might not recognize us. You wouldn't know who we are at all. Perfect strangers, because we are two actors who became notorious, I would say, for playing characters in The Lord of the Rings trilogy. We played a couple of characters who were, in fact, hobbits, or halflings, as the men call them.
Shirefolk.
Shirefolk. I played Peregrine Pippin Took.
And I played Meriadoc, Merry Brandybuck. Now, we heard from Stephen, your wonderful friend, that you know absolutely nothing about one of the greatest contributions to literature of the 20th century.
Which seems a shame, because Stephen, as you know, is a fantastic wealth of knowledge on all things Lord of the Rings and all things Tolkien, in fact, Silmarillion, Hobbit, and all the others.
Have you done one of those things, Corey, where you've thought, well, I could watch it, stroke read it, but I'm going to be one of the cool people that say, no, I never got round to it? Because I understand that. People do that with Star Wars and Star Trek and Narnia, but you are missing out. It's a fantastic book and a fantastic performance by you.
Absolutely incredible, Corey. I think you would enjoy it. So why don't you put down the board games just for a second? I hear you have 5,000 board games.
Wow.
So even if you played one every day, that would take you over 3,000 years.
Wow.
Is that right?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't divide 5,000 into 365. But
No, who would?
I bet you can now.
What's your favourite board game?
Yeah.
You can't answer. This is a one-way conversation.
But he does a podcast about it, so maybe we can check out his podcast and he could tell us. My favourite board game, right?
Monopoly.
No, come on. Think about it.
Scrabble.
There you go. That's my favourite. What's yours, Bill?
Don't really like board games.
Why do you find them kind of lock you in?
No, I keep. I miss Layth parts. Oh, do you know what I like? Backgammon.
Backgammon.
I do. I really like
One of
backgammon.
the oldest board games.
Yeah.
Anyway, Corey,
Let's go on with the game of life.
Yeah, just look after yourself. Enjoy the game of life. We're sending you a lot of deep affection.
But try and watch or at least read The Lord of the Rings, would you please? Stephen's an absolute expert.
See you, Corey. Bye.
I can't believe you did that.
As you can see, Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan, Merry and Pippin, out-trump Sean Astin, Samwise Gamgee. 2-1. Buonocore has gotten more clout than you from the original actors of the show. Thank you very much.
Definitely more halfling for the buck.
I got a little more
terrible.
halfling for you. So
Man.
that's how it went. But so now we could be a little serious, I guess. No, we're never going to be serious. But we can actually talk about our knowledge a little bit. So now that we have the actors telling us who they think is better, and obviously I win that one. So what in God's name have you got there?
Well, I mean, I'm just prepared for the next time we meet in person. So
is that a replica of
Narsil, the blade that was broken? No.
It is not.
It is not. You should have known that just by looking at it. You are so wise and versed in the ways of Tolkien.
Which blade is that?
Oh, just an extra.
Okay, just some other.
I wouldn't take down the good ones.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So we did do some trivia, and I think that we both fared very well in doing so, don't you?
For various values of well.
Yes, for various values of well. Like you had no idea on which one occasion did Iluvatar is God in the Tolkien world. In what one instance did Iluvatar actually intervene on Middle Earth? Now you know that. Would you like to now tell everybody the answer because I've told you this?
Well, yes, we can take your one question that I did not get the answer to, and we'll put it right on the fridge, Stephen, right where everyone can see it.
There were at least two, but let's go with that one.
It was the sinking of Numenor and the end of the Dunedain of the High Men. So.
It is when the Numenorians actually got to Valinor. They actually landed onto Valinor. That's where the elves went to die, or the Undying Lands, or not to die, but to live forever with the Valar. And Iluvatar said this is not supposed to happen, and he sank Numenor. And basically, the Numenorians passed into history, and certain of them did make it back to Middle Earth. And that is the line of, who is the first king of Gondor? Who are the first kings of Gondor? Oh, come on now. Oh, you're hurting me. You're hurting me that you don't know this.
It's the line of Isildur, and the very first person, was that Beor?
No. So the first king, technically, of Gondor would be co-rulers Isildur, you're right, and Anarion. They were of Gondor. Their father, who was Elendil, he was the titular ruler of the land, but then they founded Gondor, and his sons became the rulers of Gondor. So, Corey, I think I'm beating you badly just by these very
you are. I'm going to blame the time difference because you've had 3 hours more to prep than me. So.
I might have prepped a little bit. I'm having a pint here in the Shire.
That was well done, sir. That was well done.
Thank you very much. Would you like to throw any other trivia back and forth? We should do that a little bit before we go, just to entertain and nerd out a little bit. You hit me with a few things that I did not know. Come on.
No, I wasn't ready with trivia right now.
You weren't ready with trivia. So I mean, do you have any fancy Lord of the Rings games? Do you have War of the Ring, the collector's edition?
I have never played War of the Ring.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, if I have ever been able to prove that Corey Thompson is not as epic a nerd of Tolkien as I am, there we go. Forget about Billy, Dominic Monaghan, and Sean Astin. How many times have you read the Silmarillion? Let's go with that.
I think I've gone through the Silmarillion at least 5 times.
That's pretty good.
Agreed. A lot of the times it was audio. The last couple have been audio just to fill in a commute. But yeah, it's been about 5 times. That's a tough read.
That's actually pretty good. I believe I've read it 2 or 3 times only. It is a very tough read, and I actually didn't even know, though these days everything is on audio. I didn't even know it was on audiobook. So is it one of those audiobooks you may or may not have given me on a stick or something like that? Is it possibly one of those? Is it on this?
It's possible. I couldn't say for sure.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't say for sure. Okay. What are your thoughts on the Lord of the Rings cartoons from oh my God, the 70s or something like that?
I actually went opening day, stood in line for the 1977 Ralph Bakshi cartoon.
And your thoughts?
I loved it. But I was 10, 9. So looking back, yes, it was instrumental. It did a lot of things that weren't done before, but it was just plain bad.
It is, just plain bad.
And it only went through Helm's Deep because of a combination of running out of money and not really having the rights. However, the Hobbit cartoon, I think, is the finest piece of Tolkien work ever made.
The Hobbit cartoon is the best piece of Tolkien work ever done.
Yes.
Is that really what you're going to say to me here?
I'm going to say that. I'm going to go on record.
It's awful.
It's so good.
Please justify. Please, for our audience of 3 or 4 people, please tell us why you believe that it is the best Tolkien work.
The Hobbit was a children's story. It was a story that Tolkien told to his children. The cartoon does it perfectly. The voices are dead on. The characters are perfectly made. The songs even go back to original music that Tolkien had written. The songs were written out in Tolkien's work. He recorded albums singing the songs that are in the books. And it was just done brilliantly. They did a couple changes, but everyone does. They didn't put Beorn into the final, but...
So I'm going to have to go back and watch those, because I only remember bad things about all of the animated stuff that they put out about Tolkien and stuff. But I will go back on your recommendation. I will go back and take a look at that.
Absolutely. The Rankin Bass, because, I've got my Rankin Bass memorial book from the time.
It's very nice. It's very nice. Should I go get my collector's edition of War of the Ring, which is in the other room? Should I get that to show that on camera?
I've probably forgotten some of the details about it in the couple weeks since you've shown it on video.
Since I just showed it on camera very recently.
Do you have the special collector's edition of War of the Ring?
Yeah, I might. Yeah.
And what are your feelings on it? Do you like that game?
I don't know. Yeah, I might have it in my
somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of games. I might have it. And the Battle of Middle Earth, Battle of 5 Armies collector's edition I just got. Yeah, I might have that too. I don't know. Who knows? So many games. Let me ask you another thing about Tolkien. Have you read any of J.R.R. Tolkien's non-Lord of the Rings works?
He did an original translation of Beowulf, which I read some of. That was his first published work. But if you're talking about the further books that happened posthumously, that Christopher edited together.
No. I'm talking about his other works that are not part of the Lord of the Rings at all. Have you read any of those books? And I'm not even trying to
probably not
say that I read them, because I didn't.
There's a lot of literature stuff, a lot of academia.
I tried to read them and they were fairly unreadable. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is probably his next most famous book. Farmer Gillies of Ham.
Yeah.
The Smith of Wotan Major. Very low, not particularly well-regarded works.
Yeah.
There's also a Tales of Tom Bombadil that I just kind of like threw into a browser, or other works by Tolkien, and I remember seeing like the Tales of Tom or he might show up, and I could be wrong. Maybe he shows up in like Farmer Gillies of Ham or Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and he's not the same character, but
no.
But
he was a character that Tolkien played with for a while before Lord of the Rings. He kept playing with this Tom Bombadil character.
Sure.
And that's probably the biggest debated issue in Tolkien's works is what the heck is Tom Bombadil doing there? He doesn't really fit into the rest of the story. He doesn't fit into the mythos well. Is he a god? Is he a Valar? Is he a Mayar? Is he a spirit? And there's arguments all over, and Tolkien's own letters have said, I don't know, he's whatever you want him to be.
Most people view him as one of the Valar. There are two levels: the Valar, the Mayar, and the Valar really didn't do too much on Middle Earth, but the Mayar which are sort of like the secondary angels. Sort of, if you bring it into Judeo-Christian, right? You have Iluvatar or Eru, the one god. Then you have the Valar, and then you have the Mayar. And he is like, for most people, believe him to be a Mayar gone native. So like he just like,
because the Mayar did come down to Middle Earth and kind of set up shop, and some went and some didn't. In the first stage, they were very active in everything.
And who is the most famous Mayar living on Middle Earth?
Oh, there's like 8 answers to that.
No, there's one answer.
Are you talking about the Balrog? Are you talking about Gandalf?
Well, okay.
You would talking about
Gandalf.
Sauron? Are you talking about
Gandalf? Sauron would be a Valar. Sauron would be in the upper.
There's only 12.
Pantheon.
There's only 12 Valar, and Sauron is definitely not one of the 12.
I disagree.
He is one of Morgoth's Maiar. He's at the same level as the Balrog and Gandalf.
Disagree.
He happens to be a very powerful Maiar.
Oh, I want our viewers, all 3 of you, to go figure this one out and put it in the comments. I'm pretty sure that he is of the Valar, of the higher order. He is like, becomes Satan's fallen.
Morgoth is there. Melkor.
I will have to do some research on this one.
I think you're digging your own grave here, Stephen.
You might be right. Hey, I have forgotten, I think, more than I remember these days. I'm older, so I forget a lot. But so is there any other age? Are you looking right now?
Ainu, one of the Maiar of Aule, seduced by Melkor.
Very good.
He's a Maiar.
Very good.
Yeah.
So that he was the most powerful then, or at least right up there, because
he
obviously
certainly was way up there.
Obviously more powerful than a Gandalf or the others. Well, more powerful than Gandalf. We don't know what the other Astari are anything more than, special humans. We don't know that. There's never been a correlation between all of the Astari and the Maiar, I don't believe. But Gandalf is alleged, at least most people believe him to be a Maiar. All right, we have nerded. What's that?
A Maiar of Yavanna, I believe.
And his name when he was a Maiar, when he's not on Middle Earth, what is his name?
Was it Orome?
Olorin. Olorin, right?
I think Orome is the Maiar.
Yeah, Olorian. I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong on that too, but we're on the same page there. So Corey, I think we bored people enough there with our nonsense on Epic Nerd Off. Thank you for participating with me on episode 1. If we even ever do another one of these things, who knows? But I think this was very interesting.
now that I know it's on, I've got to prep and just absolutely wipe the floor with you.
Maybe I need to reread all the books so we can have it like in person. We'll go back.
We'll get Ian McKellen walking in the door right here.
You know, I tried to get him too, and that would have been good, but I went with the two hobbits. I figured, you brought
that
one
was
hobbit,
awesome.
I brought the two hobbits.
I love it.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for being part of Epic Nerd Off, episode 1 of maybe more, who knows? Maybe next time we'll do it on the best shoelaces, in nerddom. Who knows? Shoelaces. You like shoelaces? Maybe we'll do that.
Shoelaces. Maybe we'll do classic rock.
Classic rock. Oh, that might be really good. Oh, is it just gonna be? We'll just pick topics that you and I love and just keep going back and forth. I love it. Let's do that. Oh, screw everybody else. I thought maybe other people would come on. No, me versus you in general knowledge of the world. Yeah, you're probably going to beat me, but I'll do it. But I'll be in it. All right, this has been great. Thank you, Corey Thompson, so much. Do you want to tell people where they can find you? Dice Tower Dish.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm just glad there's not a pie involved in this one, or else I'd be in trouble. So I've got weekly news podcast, Dice Tower Now, and I also do a written blog of designer interviews called Dice Tower Dish, where I take designers out to dinner. So
awesome, and maybe even a ex-publisher, someone like is not like in the industry anymore. Maybe you'll take him out to.
Do you know a publisher in the industry? Because if you can get me someone's name, then I'll take them out and we'll have a good dinner.
Still in the industry, right? That's what you're saying. Okay, I got you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, listening. See you next time.
Thanks for indulging us, and I can't believe you did this.
Bye.